Third in a series of videos about this Pelican 14 quart cooler and keeping food cold as long as possible as well as dry. So I did a 48-hour ice test, and there still was a little bit of ice and some cold water in the bottom of the cooler, which would be sufficient as long as my food had contact with that cold water and ice. So I have to figure out a way to keep it watertight as well as cold, right? So one idea for watertight, these 3 half-gallon milk jugs are going to be cut off right here where the black mark is, below where this tray nestles down. So there will be a tray in the top here, and then food and ice below. The 2 outer milk jugs, after being cut off, will be filled with ice, and then the entire area around and below will be filled with ice. The center one will be left open, and I can stuff food down into there and it'll stay dry, because once the ice melts, it'll never get down into there. It'll always be below that level approximately. That's how I'm going to fill it up, to about that level. So water can never get into that center container, and it can never tip, because that will never tip over. The other thing I'm going to do is add a couple either Ziplocs that are watertight, which again, do not use the ones with the zipper that comes across of your bag, at the top of your bag. Use the old style Ziplocs or some other watertight. Leak-proof, airtight containers do not work. It has to be watertight. Then when I drop this tray in here, I'm going to drop in a layer of ice packs. Now, once those melt, they won't do me any good anymore, because I have to get access to a freezer to refreeze them. And when I'm on the road for days, that doesn't usually work. Maybe once in a while in an Airbnb, I'll have a refrigerator with a true freezer in it, but anyplace else I won't. But those ice packs, even once they've thawed, will still provide a layer of insulation in there below the top of the container, so that should help. Then the other trick you hear people talking about is throwing something on top of the cooler. So I'm going to use something like this. I just got this in the mail, coincidentally. It's a bubble wrap with a reflective layer on the top, and I'm doubling it over. So if this sits on the top, it's going to be a little more insulation, and it reflects if there's any sun hitting it. And then inside there will be the tray, which will have additional materials in it that will insulate. I'm not really going to use the tray much for cooling, I don't think. Maybe I could throw a few small things in there, but the idea is just to make the tray become an insulator. So I think my 48-hour test will actually improve with these changes, and also I have a way to keep my food dry.